Hey guys, welcome to this video. To get started, I want to share with you LM Studio at lmstudio.ai. I encourage you to go there, visit it, and download the copy that works for you and your PC. So we've got it for Mac, we've got it for Windows, and we have it for Linux. So just about everybody should be covered. And when you take it and download it and install it, just like you do in any other piece of software that you install on your computer, you'll be ready to go. And once you do that, you'll get a piece of software that looks something very similar to this. And just to give you a quick walkthrough, and by the way, I have a book that I'm going to shamelessly plug in just a few moments, but don't worry, this video is not about a plug because I'm giving you the book away for free. If you want a digital copy of it, you can get that 100% for free. But if you want, I personally like tangible things. I like to hold on to things. So that book is in printed format. And unfortunately, it's Amazon printing. So it's under KDP, self-publishing. They do charge, something for it. And then I do make a little bit of money for my time in writing all of that. Plus, again, I'm giving away a free copy of this. So it goes into all of the details about the installation, all of the different settings, and trust me, there's a plethora of these settings. But in any event, if I just go in here and type in hi, it'll yell at me and say no model selected. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in this particular model. I'm going to take all of the defaults. You see that it just flashed. I'm going to go ahead and say hi, and then it says hi, how's it going, or how's it going to my hello, blah, 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 and it writes me out some stuff, right? So I'm going to delete this so I don't have this in the conversational thread. You have a couple different modes. The default mode is power user, but if for some reason, I don't know why, but if you flipped it over to user and you don't see any of this, just come down here to lower left corner, click on power user, that's the default mode. What we're going to focus on in the video is this area. This is the server status or start server. I'm going to eject the model just because I want to show you a bunch of really cool things. And then this is where you see all of the models that you've downloaded. Now you shouldn't see anything but one. I believe it will come with the Llama 3 point something 1 billion parameter. That's the smallest one. That way at least it works to some extent out of the box. Here you can search for all kinds of other models, right? And so here I've got the search for Meta 3.1 8 billion parameter, but there's also like a 70 billion parameter. So if we just type in Llama and then leave it there, here's the 70 billion, but my goodness gracious, it's 42 gigabytes, almost 43. That's insane. The 1 billion parameter one, that's 1.3 gigabytes, which is still pretty large, but nowhere near as big as the other one. Unless you're having fiber download, that's going to take quite a while to download that 70 billion parameter. Not to mention, if you don't have a beast of a machine, you're probably going to crash your computer. So I have a very beefy machine, and I got to be honest with you, I find no need to run this thing locally. The smaller models do quite well. Okay, so in any event, I said we're going to focus on this bugger right here. This is the developer tab and the developer side, because throughout the rest of this series, we're going to live, eat, drink, breathe, sleep, die in this area. We're going to show you a HTML application that I wrote, which is going to be this booger over here. It's absolutely another free download. By the way, you can get all of this stuff here. I'll put a link in the description of the video. You go up to my GitHub and then YouTube videos where I keep everything. LMS web-app. That's what you're seeing here for this application. It's simply a single file. If I pull it up on over here, where is it? Here it is. It's a single file, this web app here. Matter of fact, you can see the code behind this one app. It's not terribly big. It's like 400 lines of code. And then you have a couple of image files, and other than that, that's pretty much it for this app. It's pretty simple, right? But it does do some pretty interesting and cool things. But in any event, you can go ahead and download that. I made mention of a book earlier. Let me digress real quick to get that out of the way. If you click on this link here at the top, it says Finally AI for Everyone. That's the name of the book, and it's out here. It's on Amazon. It's $12.99. That's the shameless plug portion of it, but I also told you you can get it for free Also, a link in the description of the video below. Under YouTube videos, at the very beginning of the root, I have Finally AI for Everyone PDF book. You'll go here, you'll download it. At one point, I was selling it for $9.99, and there was additional costs and things I had to take into an account for. Anyway, so added those in there. The full book, it's 170 something pages long, and in any event, you'll get to go through all of this. Now, in addition to this YouTube video and all of the other things that's up here on the book, there are videos that are embedded in the book with a QR code. They're not hosted on YouTube. They're specially hosted on my Amazon servers. And if you scan the QR code from the book, including the free book, you'll be able to watch those videos and get additional walkthroughs. Again, those videos are not available on YouTube, so make sure you go ahead and scan those QR codes. Okay, now all of that ranting and raving to go over here. I am going to make a couple of different windows adjustments so we can have two things on the screen at the same time and hopefully work through this together. Okay, so the first thing that we want to make sure we're doing, if you notice that where this is in the address bar, it says G, it's my G drive. I'm not hosting this on a server. I'm literally just opening the file. As a matter of fact, I'm going to close this down. I'm going to go ahead and close this down. Let's go over to here. You can see I'm in my G drive, right? My drive, whatever, and I'm going to double click this index. Okay, that file is this. I see I'm running it on my local machine, so it's not on a server, hocus pocus server. All right, the first thing I want to do is I want to start my server, so I'm going to do that, and then I get this logging verboseness information in here. To clear this, you right-click and choose Clear Logs with a left click, and then it clears everything out. A couple things I need to enable here. I'm going to leave this Enable Cores off for just a second because I want to show you something. I'm going to type in hi and hit enter, and I immediately get an error message. Okay, and the reason I'm getting the error message is because Cores is turned off. I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to go ahead and clear this log again. But I also want to go here into I'm going to hit F12, and this is the console. And it says, anyway, it's complaining about something, but then it says it's been blocked by the Cores policy. And that's basically just saying I didn't have it enabled. It's cross-origin something. I can't ever remember it. I got to hover over it. Cross-origin resource sharing. It basically allows more secure communication. And because of the way this is connecting, it needs to be on in order for it to work. So just make sure that you enable Cores when you start the server. The other thing you want to enable is down here, just-in-time modeling. So with this on, watch what's going to happen. Hi, again, it's still complaining, hey, it's not working. And the reason is because, see this? It says no models loaded. Now, I can solve this by coming up here and loading a model, and everything will be good. But if I flip this switch down here, it says just-in-time model loading, and then go ahead, right-click, clear again, and say, let me reset this and choose hi. Now, see it? It's loading. Up here at the top, it's now loaded. It loaded pretty quickly because it's fairly small. And now I can see all of the back-end telemetry for what's going on through the API call. I'm getting everything in here. And watch, I'll say, hi, write me a story. And hit enter and give it a couple of seconds. And bada bing, bada boom, I now get my story. And so there's some information inside of there. Okay, so you can see all of this is working. But let me go and show you the index.html file. And I want to show you a couple things to stand out. So as you scroll down, again, I got CSS, JavaScript, and HTML all jacked up in this single file to make it really easy and portable, and then a graphics area. But I want you to look for these types of comments in here. This one is for you to change the URL. This is going to answer on localhost 1234, and the next video I'm going to show you how to change this to use some additional tricks and tips of Cloudflare to open this thing up to the outside world. So if you wanted to have a large language model, and by the way, I need to preface this up front, a couple different disclaimers. First of all, This does not have an API key, which means anybody can gain access to it. It's a public large language model, so there's no private information, so there's no issue there. Where I would be concerned, and I'm not an attorney, so if you're really concerned about it, go ask an attorney, because I don't know. I always am a pessimistic type of individual and try to see how some user is going to break my software or how something bad's going to happen. It's just the analytical mindset. It's not that I'm trying to be negative, but I know that if something can go wrong, eventually, not if, it's when, that it will go wrong. And so as a programmer, I just try to, head things off at the path and try to anticipate what could go wrong so that I can write better software. So that's the blessing side of it. The curse is, if you carry that into your personal life, that can be really negative at times, and that's not good. All right, so in any event, what you do at this point is there's no key, so there's no issue there. But if somebody were to get a hold of this, use it in their software, use it in some way that it caused harm to somebody because the large language model was unfiltered, and they can tie it back to your IP address, tie it back to you, there might be some implied liability there, so just protect yourself. If you're really going to do this in the real world, then use a real server, a real better way of doing this. Just my disclaimer to all of you is that this is for educational purposes only, to increase your skills. So that's why you should be watching these types of videos. Okay, so with all of those disclaimers out of the way, the last and final one that I want to share or give you guys is I want to go back to lmstudio.com. I want to make this larger. I want to scroll down to the bottom. And this one right here is super important. Can I use LM Studio at work? And the answer is yes, you can, but they want you to fill out this form, which is a request form, and they'll get back to you as soon as they can. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take them to get back. I don't know if they're going to charge you. I don't know if they're just trying to track this information, but just, try to do the right thing and be ethical. This is a free piece of software by them. And, if you are an organization, you probably can afford to pay them something. So just, if you can do so, please do so. Also, just to make sure you don't get yourself in any legal trouble or hot water, doing this as well will protect you. But this only comes out in the event that you want to use this in a business case or use business type of scenario. So I'm not showing you this cool little app to enable the API so that you can circumvent whatever thing they got going on there and just say, hey, I just installed this on one machine, but I'm using this other interface to connect to the API, because bottom line is you're using it in a company, you're using it in a business. So don't be a cheapskate. Make sure you fill out the form, please. Okay, so that being said, now that we've got all of these disclaimers out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and reset this again. We'll reset this here. And so we've got all of the logging and stuff set up. I've shown you how to do this, but now I want to go back over to the code. And like I said, I'll show you how to change the URL. The next thing I want to show you is down here. Change the prompt. If you don't like the way something's handled, you can change it here. But you can also come over here in this model window and come over to the inference tab, and you can set a system prompt here as well. So you can change it here at the model level in the API backend server side, or in the code for your client that is the client side or the client UI side, this side. You can change it in code, and I have it written in such a way that it is the way that it is. Okay. The other and last final thing to look at, this is Llama 3.2 1 billion instruct. Let's just suppose, now I told you, I have a couple of these different models already loaded up here. I don't know what's going on here. Stop. I want to come over here. Here we go, my models. And let's just pick what is it? I have an 8 billion one here. So let's come back over to here. Let's load up the 8 billion one, which is the 8B, hit load model. This will take a few moments to go. Now, this right here is super important because this is the name of the model. So if I wanted to switch this out on line 366, this is where I would change out the 1 billion version for the 8 billion version. You see the difference? Let me put these side by side again. So this right here matches this up here. But if I wanted to change this out, I simply copy this and then I paste that over here, and then, you know, reset, reload, do whatever, obviously save the file, and that's how you can change out the models. So other than that, that's really all there is to change in this file. You can change the system prompt, optional. You can change the large language model, again, optional. And then the other thing you can do here is change the URL, which is most definitely optional. And the other thing that you can do too is, if you know code, you can go in and change the colors, you can change out the logos, you can change, you know, all this stuff that you know is in the file. So have at it. I'm going to see you in the next video where we're going to talk about Cloudflare tunnels and how to enable all of this to work inside of your browser so you can use it on, well, pretty much any piece of software out there in the world. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.